government hasn't always been so sure. Skeptics may scoff at the existence of ESP and other paranormal powers, but the U.S. government hasn't always been so sure. In fact, millions of dollars have been spent over several decades to find out if such human capabilities actually exist.
That pursuit is the subject of the new book, Phenomena, The Secret History of the U.S. Government's Investigations into Extrasensory Perception and Psychokinesis. We're joined by Annie Jacobson, author and a 2016 Pulitzer Prize finalist in history. Hi, Annie.
Good morning.
I think a lot of us are shocked the government actually spent money looking at this, but you also point out very quickly that in 1975, the CIA concluded that a large body of reliable evidence exists.
Skeptics may scoff at...
Okay, I'm back again. And I'm back again with special powers. I have ESP. You may think, well, what is ESP? Well, ESP stands for Extra Sensory Perception. Now, you may think it's nuts. It's not nuts. People have special powers. I was given this power while serving in the armed forces. I was walking around like a zombie, being remotely controlled by a bunch of criminals with satellite weapons, drones, and electronic warfare. Artificial intelligence, stealing my thoughts. While serving in the armed forces, broadcasting my life, and broadcasting the secrecy of military intelligence. And you may think, how is that possible? And why is it possible? Well, you ask the government lawyers. Ask the government lawyers why they created this. Why are we here? How was this created? How are you collecting his thoughts? How is he broadcasting that? Does he have ESP? Confirm that. Because it's all fraud. The Department of Veterans Affairs compensated me, called me schizophrenia, while I have ESP. I'm broadcasting it. And the government will not confess. But the people know what the hell's going on. And they want the same treatment. And you have to be fair. The law requires fairness. Ask yourself a question. Does this man have ESP? Are we spying on him? Is he broadcasting his life 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Can they access his mind overseas? Can they access his mind in a neighborhood? Can they access his mind in a state, in a city? Can they? Please stand up and confess. Everybody wants fair treatment. The sad thing about it is that I am a disabled veteran. And I am broadcasting my life 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm broadcasting my disability. How is that fair, you may ask? Well, it's not fair. It's not fair. Why? Well, let's look at a couple of laws. If I am broadcasting my life to society and to the government, to foreign enemies, you think that's fair? It's not fair. It's not fair. Why? Because it violates what? It violates HIPAA law. Broadcasting my disability to society, to the government, to Russia, to China, to my neighbors is in violation of HIPAA law. And on top of that, I'm preparing for court. I'm preparing for court. And so I am broadcasting my ideas to society, to the jurors, to the judges, in violation of my privacy rights. How about attorney-client privileges? Okay, I gotta have some privacy. It's not giving me privacy. I am broadcasting my life 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so help me God. I am entrapped by my own government's experiment, broadcasting my ideas, broadcasting my disability, and you want to call that cool? Hell no, it does not work. The only thing that works is that I am broadcasting my ideas to the government, to the privacy, to foreign enemies, and they like that. Why? Because I am broadcasting ideas. After you go to sleep at night, your brain doesn't shut off. You are a walking zombie. You're sleepwalking. You get up out of your bed and your mind just wanders. And in your bread, and in your bed, and in your mind right there, in your mind you have what? You have folders, right? Folders of information. It's stored in your head. It's stored in your head, right in your brain, right? And so at night it comes out and it starts opening those pages. And you start creating information. You start giving information to the government in violation of your constitutional law. Those folders should stay right in this place. They're not. You're exposing that to society, to the government, to police, to the FBI, to the CIA, to the NSA for 32 fucking years. They do not know what the hell they're doing. Pardon my French, but I'm being attacked by satellite weapons. And I'm being ambushed by electronic warfare perpetrators that have access to my body area network. They're accessing my phone with my devices to attack me. Long range, 40 yards away, 50 feet away, says the Secret Service. 50 feet away, said the Department of State in the Moscow signal. They're accessing my body area network to attack me. Now, how do you think it's going to work for everybody? How do you think it's going to work? Is it possible to have ESP? Is it possible to be microchipped? We're going to visit that right now. You ready? Here we go. Here we go. And to top it off, if I was to go to a foreign country, to Germany, to Moscow, I would not fit in because of my olive complexion. I have an olive skin. I do not blend in with the British. I do not blend in with the Germans. I do not blend in with the Russians. They would take me and hang me to the gallows for espionage and spying, so help me God. Because I'm broadcasting that to foreign affairs. I'm entrapping myself. They know when I'm coming. They see me coming. It does not work, folks. And I don't care how you want to sugarcoat this. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. But your ESP and devices are making a war game, a cloud game for those people up, for those damn nuts that are up there watching the whole entire thing. Setting up Americans overseas so they can be entrapped or a POW style network. So help me God. It does not work. As a matter of fact, it puts the American people in a clear and present danger, an enemy of our country. So help me God. So help me God. So let's visit ESP. Is it possible to have ESP? Ask yourself, am I broadcasting my life? Go to the streets. Walk down to the gym. Go to the institution. Everybody wants the same treatment, guys. Okay, it does not fucking work. I don't care what you say. It's not going to work. The sad thing about it is that TV, media, news, people that broadcast information, they need a license. You apply to the FCC, and you have to have a license to broadcast anything over the air or wavelengths. I don't need a license. I'm operating without a license for over 32 years, so help me God. Everything that I think about, everything that I do is broadcasted over the airwave to be intercepted by a data bank up in Utah or right here in Texas by Elon Musk and his cronies. Depriving me of my thoughts. Depriving me of my intellectual property. Depriving me of my intellectual cognitive information. Is ESP possible? And you're going to visit that right now. And it should be challenged.
Skeptics may scoff scoffed at the existence of ESP and other paranormal powers, but the U.S. government hasn't always been so sure. In fact, millions of dollars have been spent over several decades to find out if such human capabilities actually exist.
That pursuit is the subject of the new book, Phenomena, the secret history of the U.S. government's investigations into extrasensory perception and psychokinesis. We're joined by Annie Jacobson, author and a 2016 Pulitzer Prize finalist in history. Hi, Annie.
Welcome.
Morning.
I think a lot of us are shocked the government actually spent money looking at this, but you also point out very quickly that in 1975, the CIA concluded that a large body of reliable evidence exists to the inescapable conclusion that ESP does exist.
I mean, it's an astonishing conclusion to draw, and it's created an enormous battleground for decades between the CIA and the Defense Department as they, inquire into this area that has so long been associated with the supernatural, with magic. And here we are, advanced science looking at it.
How did the U.S. government first get involved or interested in this kind of phenomena?
Well, like so many Defense Department programs, it all leads back to the Nazis.
Yeah, well,
Always.
all roads.
And at the end of the war, military intelligence collected a cache of Nazi documents called Das Ahnenerbe. And that was Heinrich Himmler's science into this extrasensory perception, psychokinesis. We got half, the Russians got the other half, and that led to what we know now as the psychic arms race.
Wow.
There was always a battle, though, within the intelligence community. Wasn't there about whether this was legitimate?
Always a battle. I mean, you have skeptics on the one hand who say this does not pass scientific method muster.
Right.
The experiments are not repeatable, it's pseudoscience. You have others who are in the work who insist, based on that quote you said, and there's some extraordinary success stories, locating hostages, locating lost weapons, downed aircraft. So this debate, the science versus the supernatural, has been going on for decades, and it's infinitely interesting.
Beyond ESP, you talk about something called remote viewing. What exactly is that, and what other kinds of phenomena was the government interested in pursuing?
Well, it's a great point you bring up. Remote viewing is essentially ESP under a different name. And it was done, the CIA created that term in the 70s to try to destigmatize this idea of extrasensory perception.
Oh, nice name. They even worked with people like Uri Geller, who's a name I think some of us know in this research, didn't they?
Geller was a CIA asset. We know that from the documents. I interviewed his handlers. I interviewed Geller himself. The reason he left the program was he was allegedly also working for Mossad. And that has become a great mystery over the decades.
Yeah.
We talk about the various programs that have been declassified. You talk about one called Project Sunstreak. Tell us what that is.
Sunstreak, again, one of the names for this series of very similar programs that dealt with these same basic issues of can you see things far away through a means other than the five senses, through the sixth sense, so to speak. It was a special access program, which means it had extraordinary classification measures. They kept changing the names of the programs to try to keep the Russians and the Chinese from knowing what we were doing.
Amy, did they actually try to train people to be psychic?
They did at the Defense Department, and that's where real grave problems arose. The CIA's position was this is individualistic. This is a biological phenomena. It's physiological, and they sought to investigate. Think of the analogy of like, I can't sing in the shower. Think what Mozart does. That's how the CIA saw psychics.
Where are we now with these types of programs?
We're back in the same place we were in the 70s, except for we have advanced technology brought into the mix now. So you have the Defense Department working on programs, but bringing in, computer technologists, neurobiologists.
Wow.
Fascinating.
Totally riveting.
The book is Phenomena. Annie Jacobson, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks, Annie.
And she says right there, not only does he have special powers, they're using computerized software to intervene. And AI, okay? And AI is deadly. So you have me implanted, you're broadcasting my mind, and you're using the AI to slowly kill me. She just said it right there. And this woman right here should be testifying in my court case. And I probably will issue a subpoena for her. But we'll get to that later, okay? Hey, I mean, this is not fun and games, folks. It's not fun. They have stolen my life and fed me to the wolves, fed me to a devil of cynicism, of an AI that's attacking me, okay, with 2 satellites. All right? Is ESP possible? Yes, it is. It's possible.